Last Adventurer here to talk about an introductory backpacking video. I'm going to be heading up into the Sierras for a little bit with my good friend California Through My Lens, and it seemed like a good time to talk about what brings for a short or introductory backpack. I've got a bunch of items here and we'll kind of just go through them one by one. Number one, I've got a nice waterproof bag that's underneath my trekking poles, which I'll get to in a second. But even though it's not supposed to rain over the time we're going to be gone, I always like to be prepared and have the ability to keep my essentials dry should anything occur, or if I fall into a river, I'll be set. Anyhow, on top of that is the trekking poles. For a long time I was anti-trekking pole, but I find that as I get a little older they're helpful, and since I won't be bringing my ice axe this trip, they're definitely something that I can use to probe around when we go along the Palisade Glacier. These poles are made by Salomon. They break down really neatly and they're really lightweight, so all sorts of bonuses there. Anyhow, moving on. Alright, since we're going to be gone for about 2 days, I'm going to bring some optional items along too. For example, you'll see I've got a one-man Teton Sports ultralight backpacking tent, and I've also got this great Tribe Provisions backpacking hammock. Now, I know ultralight is all the rage these days, and frankly, if this wasn't a leisurely trip, I'd probably take one and not the other, especially as it's not supposed to rain. But since we're going to relax and kick back, I'm going to use the hammock and probably sleep in the tent as well. That blue bag right underneath the Teton Sports tent is my 10 essentials. Again, waterproof. You want to be prepared even though the weather looks good. I've got my compass, map, lighter, rope, first aid kit, and a variety of other things that are definitely going to come in handy should anything awry happen. Right next to that, carrying two 1.5 liter bottles. One's an Nalgene, as you can see. I know Missouri Howl, yes. And then the other one is a more insulated thermos. I find that's great because during the middle of the ascent up to base camp, I can keep my water nice and cold. Again, talking about ultralight business here. If I wanted to go ultralight, I've got, all sorts of camelback type bags, but not really worried about weight this trip, just a couple days and not carrying that much weight as it is. Above that, you've got my bandana, standard cotton red bandana. Good for first aid and good for a variety of things. Moving on over here, got a pair of lightweight gloves, North Face, nothing special. And got a beanie for later on in the evening if it gets a little cooler. Above that, you can see that I've got some food. Looks like I'm going to be chowing down on some rice and sweet pulled pork. Got some Kind bars. And then we'll talk more about food in a second. Over here, got the boots I'll be wearing on this trip. These are the Salomon S-Lab X Alp. They're designed for a variety of things. Salomon builds them as from the base to the summit, and these are some great all-around boots. Vortex, waterproof. Got a little bit of a mid-range gaiter there that'll keep my legs slightly cleaner along the trail. But no need to bring an extra pair of shoes with these. Even if we're exploring around on the glacier, these will be great boots for that. And they've got the Salomon quick lace technology in there. Right, just behind there you'll see clothes pile. When we get into base camp, and for the second day we'll be up around 11,000 feet. A little cooler this time of year, October. Not too bad, but I've got a mid-weight fleece, a pair of lightweight pants, my sun gaiter, and some, again, luxury items I could do without if I was going to be just going for ultralight. 2 pairs of socks. Find that clean feet are a luxury that you want to have on the trail. Okay, so I said we talk more about food in a second. Here we are, back to the food. I got some jet fuel for the jet boil that we'll be using. And then I got my Enduro packs, hydration. And then I got some water purification. Must have water purification. This is an area where we did go a little lighter. I'm just using standard potable agua. It's worked great for me over the years, although there's many other great lightweight opportunities. And then I got some coffee for the morning. Gotta have that coffee. Again, a luxury item. If you look to the back, you will see my old Arc'teryx Bora 80. Again, if we are looking for a more lightweight option, there's plenty of things on the market since 1998 that would serve you well. But in this case, I'm not worried about the weight, and this pack's been a real workhorse for me both home and abroad. The neat thing about this pack, so I'll zoom in here, is the top part comes off. So on the second and third days when we're exploring around, I can just throw some of my food in there, and it's kind of like a little day pack type deal. So that's super awesome. One of the reasons I've always loved this pack. All right, and last thing on the list, but not least, my Marmot 0 degree sleeping bag. Again, it's not really gonna get that cold this time of year where we're going, but it's good to have that extra warmth, again, in case something happens. But if I wanna sleep out in the hammock in that, I will definitely be nice and toasty for sure. Anyhow, that's what's in my backpack this time. Great list for a 2-day. Not pictured here are the other items of group gear that California Through My Lens will have, and we'll probably divide up. The bear canister, always a must in the Sierras, and the aforementioned jet boil. Anyhow, hope this helps you, and this is a great way to get started on a 2 to 3 day backpacking. You could go out with just a little more food than this and you'd be set for a long time. You don't need that much. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.